You know what time it is. I know you do. You know what time it is. It's FTG Thursday. Good morning. How you doing? You were probably wondering if I was having a boomer moment there. No, that was for dramatic effect. I did it on purpose. Now, as you know, on Thursdays we usually like to do a little FTG time, right? Because it's just I'm using a soothing voice today. I don't know why, but we have a little where we just say FTG to some people who deserve the FTG. Now, if you're not sure what FTG means, you might have to ask someone in the chat because I'm not going to repeat myself today. However, I am prepared. I've got my cup. It's got some beautiful caffeine juice in it, and it tastes very wonderful. And after the intro, I'm going to update you on some of the morning headlines, and then I will get into some of the FTGs. So, I'll see you in roughly 60 seconds. Play the intro. Play the intro. Play the damn intro! Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawgKnight. And stop the music. All right, everybody. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. I keep doing that clicking sign. I'm trying to stop doing that. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. And welcome back to the PDawgKnight Channel. It is Thursday, FTG Thursday, the 15th of April, 2021. Now, if you think you're supposed to have your taxes done and transmitted by today, well, apparently the federal government has given you another 30 days. So May 15th, apparently this year is what it is, but I'm transmitting mine today and I'll send a check because I owe them money and just how it is when you do some things that are, I have a couple tiny little business ventures where I get self-employed income. So I have to do, I just never do the quarterly. It's not a huge check, but I had to write a check. So unfortunately that's how it is. Some things will never change. That's just the way it is. Some things will always be the same. Okay, that's the alternate version of that song. Anyway, good morning, everybody, again. Let's say hello to everybody because that's what I do, and then we'll get into the news today. First in the chat today, oh, hey, hold up. Gotta fix something because it broke. Hang on. I will fix it, though. There we go, and let's fix that, and let's fix that. Oh, gosh, what bad timing. First in the chat today was our dear friend and ever faithful moderator, Becca Fairley, who gets the bell. Thank you so much for and also always tweets out the show. I always appreciate that. Also a couple thank yous. Let's see, looks like Renee Mayette and Zacherstan, which would be Zach Osborne, and Sean retweeted my tweet of the show. And if you ever are worried about not getting notifications from YouTube, follow me on social media, PDawgKnight. At PDawgKnight on Twitter, Gab, Minds, Cloud Hub, and Parler. And I think I have a Facebook page under PDawgKnight. I don't use it, though, so I don't even remember. I have a personal Facebook page, too, but I kind of leave that. That's for high school reunions and shit. Anyway, also good morning to Advocate Diablo, the devil's advocate, who is in the house. Good morning, Jesse Leon. Let's do this. I agree, sir. Select the boys in the house.
Yeah, boy.
Hello to you. And also, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Also, good morning, Zach Osborne, Stellar to the Moon. Okay, Sheargrass in the house. How you doing? Got a period ad before P-Dawg. That time of the month, my dude. Okay, right on. Also, good morning. I already said Becca Fairley. Good morning, Jonathan Peterson. Hello, Zablaze in the house. My friend from down under, Richo's in the house. Also, good morning. I got to scroll down a little bit here. Don Keating, what's happening? Good morning. Good morning, Sean. Good morning, T-Ball. Justin Anderson. Ost San. Terai Deos. Smarty Bear. Michael Hatfield, good morning. How you doing? Also, good morning, too. I got to really scroll now. Alone's in the house, a.k.a. Always Lost and Nothing Else. Good morning to... let's see, who am I missing here? Renee Mayette, hello. Tyler F, hello. I think that's about it. Thomas Cleaver's in the house. Good morning, sir. Good morning, People's Front of Canada. Gunfox61, who provided several items that are in our FTG file today. Also, good morning. By the way, Gunfox is the ever loyal administrator of the PDawgKnight Discord server. Join that server. In fact, it's in the chat right now. You click that thing and you're welcome to join. And if you want to find lots of news and other interesting stuff, go check it out. Also, good morning, Maniac Man. What's happening? Evil One just popped in. And did I miss some people? Maybe I might have, but hopefully not too many. As I scroll, I think I'm okay. All right. So, during the show, if you like what we do, hit the like button. Make sure you let me know. And that helps the algorithm eventually, though. I'm sure my stream will make it onto something. Oh, I got to reset this, too. Golly, Mart, what are you doing? All right, now we successfully reset the Streamlabs Super Donor of the Day. All right, let's just get into some news first, and then we'll get into the FTGs. Again, if you're not sure what FTGs are, it's something to do. All right. So Kimberly Potter, the unfortunate individual who perished, Daunte Wright, has been arrested and will be charged with manslaughter in the Daunte Wright shooting. Kimberly Potter, the former Minnesota police officer who fatally shot Daunte Wright after mistakenly drawing her gun instead of her taser, was arrested Wednesday and will be charged with second-degree manslaughter, state prosecutors said. Agents with the Minnesota Board of Criminal Apprehension this morning arrested a former Brooklyn Center police officer for the April 11th shooting death of Daunte Wright, the state agency said on Twitter. Agents took Kim Potter into custody approximately 11:30 a.m. at the BCA in St. Paul. The BCA said that after consultation with Washington County prosecutors, that's okay. I still haven't quite figured out why they keep doing things with Washington County when Brooklyn Center is in Hennepin County, but maybe this will explain it. Good morning, Attack Alpaca. The BCA said that after consultation with Washington County prosecutors, Potter will be booked at the Hennepin County Jail. Oh, probably because she lives in Washington County. That could be. She probably lives out in Woodbury or something like that. Or another. The Twin City Metro, there are, 4 or 5 counties, I think, that include the Metro: Hennepin County, Dakota County, Anoka County, Washington County. Oh, that's it. And Washington County. The entire Metro fills in there. So and I'm assuming that she lives in Washington County. Good morning, TC. How you doing? So anyway, Washington County Attorney Peter Orput, who is expected to prosecute the case locally, still don't get that. Okay, it happened in Hennepin County. Why would the Washington County attorney prosecute this? I'm not sure. Maybe someone's going to explain that eventually. I don't understand it. He said earlier that details of the charges will be released later, according to the Twin Cities Pioneer Press, which is for the St. Paul Daily in the Metro. Potter, 48, was charged a day after she resigned from the Brooklyn Center Police Department in the wake of the 20-year-old's police shooting. You know, it's funny. I keep hearing people talking about, oh, she shot a teenager. He's not a teenager. He's 20 years old. And let me reiterate before anyone who might see this, that I think she should be charged with this, and I think she probably will be convicted of this because her carelessness is why the kid's dead. Not that. Well, maybe there's an argument possibly that deadly force could have been justified in this case. Also, I'm not sure if I agree with the argument, but because he fought his way away from officers and got into a vehicle, also knowing that the warrant is a gun-related warrant, both the vehicle and a possible gun could be considered a reason to use lethal force because it's a dangerous situation for them and people who could be bystanders. But I'm saying that I don't agree with necessarily, but there is an argument that can be made. Now, Potter's lawyer, Earl Grey, one of the greatest maker of tea on the planet, did not respond to requests for comments from the Post on Wednesday. Grey is also representing former Minneapolis cop Thomas Lane, one of the former officers charged in connection with George Floyd's police custody death. Potter, a 26-year veteran of police veteran and police chief Tim Cannon both resigned in the wake of the shooting. City Council also fired city manager Kurt Bogany after the incident. Okay, here's why. Okay, Washington County was tapped to decide on charging instead of Hennepin County, where Brooklyn Center is located, to avoid a conflict of interest, officials said. Wright's death is also under review by the BCA, and Brooklyn Mayor Mike Elliott on Tuesday said he would ask Governor Tom Walz to turn the prosecution over to Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison. Great. Let's just say I'm not a fan of Keith Ellison. Okay, so this just gives more details of what happened, and we know what happened. But she did resign. She said it was in the best interest of the community and department and my fellow officers if I resign immediately, she wrote. Wright had an open warrant related to an armed robbery case against him when he was shot dead. He and another man had been charged with first-degree attempted aggravated robbery in December 2019 for allegedly trying to steal $820 from a woman at gunpoint, according to Hennepin County District Court documents. In a statement Wednesday, Ben Crump, grievance grifter and ambulance chaser extraordinaire, said the decision to charge Potter is appreciated, but added that no conviction can give the Wright family their loved one back. Well, he is correct there. I will give him that. But he says this was no accident. This was intentional, deliberate, and unlawful use of force. I'm not sure how you can make that argument after seeing the tape, although who knows, maybe in the heat of the moment she was so calculated and cold that she knew she was drawing her weapon and shot him just as saying taser to cover her tracks. I don't know. I'm not buying it, FTG Ben Crump, even because I just can't do the dude. Good morning. Thank you. First sponsor of the day, Royal Flush. Oh, that's a sponsor. That's a sponsor. Thank you to our sponsor, Royal Flush. Royal Flush. Whoops. Wait a minute. Gosh, I forgot I moved all this stuff around. What the hell's going on there? Let me cancel that. Royal Flush.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
First sponsor of the day, Royal Flush. And it says Royal Flush portable toilets. When you want to feel like a king on the throne. That's a great motto. That's got to be a Shiokrath production. I don't know for sure, but it sounds like well, I'm not 100% sure. Thank you, Royal Flush, whoever you are, for being a sponsor of the show, and you are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day. Bam! There it is. Okay, yeah, Ben Crump. Dude, he's going to try to inflame this as much as he possibly can because that's his job, and he's going to play it out in a court of public opinion and not always tell the truth either. So, whatever. Oh, I didn't even see this. I'm going to add this to my list, and this is going to be in my FTG list as soon after reading the headline. All right, moving on. Night of Rage. There was certainly a lot going on. Dante Riders burned down police building and forced cop Kimberly Potter to flee her home after her address was leaked. I would not. This is going to get really ugly quick, I think. Third night of riots erupted following the death of Dante Wright that led protesters to burning down a police building and forcing a cop to flee her home after her address was leaked. More than 60 people were arrested in Portland, Minneapolis, New York, Philadelphia, and Chicago because this happened in multiple cities last, the 11th. Amid the growing unrest throughout the country after 25-year veteran officer Kim Potter shot and killed Wright during a traffic stop on Sunday. Protesters also descended on the home of Officer Kim Potter, who shot Wright, 20, after allegedly mistaking her gun for a taser. The 25-year veteran of the Brooklyn Center Police Department's home was barricaded up on Tuesday night as crowds gathered outside her 5-bedroom house. Potter and her husband, former Fridley police officer, fled the residence after the address was shared on social media. Though that's a great idea. Anyway, good morning, Charlie. How you doing? Nice to see you. Let's see. Potter and her husband. Let's see. A riot was declared in Portland for a second consecutive night. Oh, that's unusual. A riot was declared in Portland for the second consecutive night after the police union headquarters in North Portland was swarmed by around 100 people who set it on fire. Smoke engulfed the street as the flames erupted next to the letters ACAB, which is an old white skinhead phrase borrowed by the anti-fascists. Anyway, spray painted on the building, meaning all cops are bastards. Scores of protesters in Brooklyn Center last night lobbed bottles and other projectiles over a fence in front of the police headquarters as chaos erupted outside the police station. Yes, it was a peaceful protest. Demonstrators used umbrellas, the stops of storage units, and boogie boards as makeshift shields against cops to deflect their tear gas, flash bombs, and other non-lethal weapons. Okay. Police declared an unlawful assembly at the drastically reinforced Brooklyn Center Police Station as riot cops and the National Guard shielded the building, which is now enclosed by concrete barriers and metal fencing. Murderapolis was spray painted on one of the barriers. Well, that brings back memories of the 90s when Minneapolis was having one of the greatest murder sprees in history, only to be matched by 2020. Anyway, just a stone's throw from where George Floyd was killed last May, where Officer Derek Chauvin is currently on trial regarding his death, came after protesters gathered peacefully. Yeah, they started out peaceful, and then the opportunists showed up. Real quick, thank you, Zach Osborne, for the most patriotic donation in the history of the world. And Zach Osborne, fuck.
You are the new Streamlabs Superstar Donor of the Day.
Thank you for the 1776. He says, real people don't care. Real people stand on their porches with their rifles. 1776 will commence again. And hi, TC. Yeah, hi, TC. What's up? Thank you, Zach Osborne. Greatly appreciated. Yes, Hacksaw Jim Duggan does give 4 shits. All right. Anyway, what's the source that ACAB came from neo-Nazis? It was a skinhead phrase in the 80s, and that the source is me because I'm old enough to remember. All right. Anyway, about 90 minutes after 10 p.m. curfew, state police announced over the loudspeaker that the gathering had been declared unlawful and ordered the crowds to leave the area immediately. You're hereby ordered to disperse. Read the loudspeakers. The curfew was in effect until 6 a.m. By the way, I did catch, Charlie, you said something back here about what Democrats are going to be voting on. Let me find that real quick, because I think, where'd that go? Oh, gosh, y'all been busy. Where the hell did Charlie go? is that long ago? Or did you, oh, Jaeger Pony's in the house. How you doing, my friend? My favorite Canadian is here. Nice to see you. Well, good Lord. Did Charlie bolt and delete everything he put in there? Or am I just not seeing shit? No, they do that to avoid any conflicts of interest. Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's what it said in the article too. Hi, Justin Anderson also. And who else is new here? I don't know what happened to Charlie's. And Snoopy, what's happening? Nice to see you. Where the hell did it go? There. Oh, there you are. Good morning. The House will be voting on a bill soon that will make Puerto Rico the 51st state. Is that good or bad? I'm indifferent. Puerto Rico still hasn't voted to become a state, although it's getting closer. They've seemed to be more interested, and also are voting. Well, here's the other thing: they're voting on a few things today. Or I don't know if the votes are today, but they've, I'll get to the article later, but there's a bill to add 4 more justices to the Supreme Court just to get the balance to where the Democrats want it. And, let's just, which is a terrible idea. And even Justice Stevens says so. And Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg said so. And there's a few Democratic senators who are like, yeah, we're not doing that. But, and also another bill for Washington, D.C. to become a state, which would require an amendment to the Constitution. But that's a whole nother thing. All right. My only source for that is personal knowledge. So even the ADL admits it was skinhead saying for what that's worth. Yeah, no, that was one thing they used to do. Anyway, so lots of stuff in riots in the Sun. It's interesting. The U.S. version of the Sun is what's publishing this with lots of photos and stuff. That'll be, by the way, as you know, or if you don't know, I'm telling you right now, any of the articles or videos or anything else I reference here at the end of the show will be added to the description down below, where you will be able to find a single tab that will take you to links to every story highlighted today. So there you go. Bad news, I got stuck in Minneapolis when the lockdown started. Good news, I've done all my Christmas shopping. Oh, Sheograph. You are such a card. All right. Let's move on. In the George Floyd trial, interesting happenings. This guy said George Floyd's death should be classified as undetermined, not homicide, according to a former medical examiner. Okay. Anyway, the death of George Floyd should be categorized as undetermined instead of homicide, said oh, I see what he's saying, as instead of homicide. So homicide just means that a human being killed you. Homicide does not mean murder. Even, not every homicide is a murder. Anyway, we'll get into that. Former medical examiner said during a trial of Officer Derek Chauvin, who's accused of killing Floyd, in my opinion, Mr. Floyd had a sudden cardiac arrhythmia due to his atherosclerosis and hypertensive heart disease during his restraint and subdual by the police. Dr. David Fowler, who previously headed a medical examiner's office in Maryland, said on Wednesday during Chauvin's trial in Minneapolis. Thanks again, Zach Osborne. With the Deuce, who says Puerto Rico will never vote to become a state. It's not up to the U.S. Congress. It's up to Puerto Rico. They enjoy all the benefits of being a state without the federal taxes. Trust me, I've deployed with Puerto Ricans. They will never become a state. I agree with you that Puerto Rico would have to vote to be a state. You can't, Congress just can't say, oh, we're going to make you a state. They would have to vote on it. And it's in the past, it's been pretty overwhelming that Puerto Rico has rejected becoming a state. However, again, that the polls there, it's getting closer. They're not there yet, but it's not it's not completely out of the realm that they would possibly vote. Although, you may be right. There's a lot of people who feel very strongly against it. So there you go. Thank you again, Zach Osborne. Appreciate it. So he continues. He said that fentanyl and methamphetamine in Floyd's systems, as well as the paraganglioma tumor he suffered from contributed to his death. Fowler also noted that Floyd's death could have been caused by possible carbon monoxide poisoning from being close to a police car exhaust. Was that car running when they were doing that? I'm not sure about that. Let's see. Okay, that's weird. Floyd's enlarged heart and other factors. Floyd was 46. All those combined to cause Mr. Floyd's death, said Fowler, an expert witness for the defense. He had significant narrowing of all his coronary arteries close to their origin, which is really consistent with all of his heart, unfortunately being subject to a reduced supply. Homicide and undetermined are two of the 5 categories medical examiners use to label manners and causes of death. Gregory G. Davis, the president of the National Association of Medical Examiners, told Time magazine years ago that homicide indicates someone's intentional actions led to the death of another person. The other labels are natural, accident, and suicide. Davis said at the time, let's see, several other medical experts who testified have said that Chauvin keeping his knee pinned on Floyd's neck and back was the primary cause of death. Quote, Mr. Floyd's use of fentanyl did not cause the subdual or neck restraint, said Dr. Andrew Baker, the county medical examiner who conducted an independent autopsy of Floyd. His heart disease did not cause the subdual or the neck restraint. Okay, here's the thing, though. In the original autopsy, said that there was no tissue damage to the neck. And I'm not sure how that would, it would seem that would be some tissue damage if there was that kind of restraint. I don't know. And also, okay, let's see. Hold on. Dr. Martin Tobin, a lung expert, also testified in court this week that Floyd died from a low level of oxygen. Well, yeah, there's a lot of things that cause that. It's like the left side is in a vice. It's totally being pushed in, squeezed in from each side. Chauvin's attorney Eric Nelson is trying to prove that the 19-year police veteran did what he was trained to do and that Floyd died because of his illegal drug use and underlying health problems. Prosecutor Jerry Blackwell got Fowler to admit that he didn't take the weight of Chauvin's gear into account when he analyzed the pressure on Floyd's body. Further, Blackwell all but accused Fowler of jumping to conclusions and suggesting to the jury that Floyd had a white pill in his mouth in the video of his arrest. Fowler denied saying that. So it's going back and forth. When I heard the original, that weeks ago, before when they announced the autopsy, when they said, the one thing that I don't know why they're talking about is the fact that his lungs were 2.5 times their normal weight, which means there is probably excess fluid in them. That would also reduce your lung capacity. But this is going back and forth. All right, let's move on because I got to get to the other stuff today. Pelosi's House Democrat margin shrinks as a Republican representative is sworn in. House Democrats' majority shrunk again as Representative Julie Letlow, a Republican from Louisiana, is slated to be sworn into office on Wednesday. Letlow is joining the lower chamber after her husband, Luke Letlow, died of they call it, this publication, the CCP virus, the Chinese Communist Party virus. Earlier this year, Julia Letlow won a special election in March. With Letlow being sworn in, Republicans have 212 seats in the House compared with the Democrats' 218 seats. Tie votes fail in the House, which means that Democrats cannot pass legislation if 3 or more of their members defect and the Republican Party fully opposes them. Specifically, with such a narrow majority, it means House Speaker Nancy Pelosi can only afford to lose 2 Democrat votes on any bill on any legislation opposed by all Republicans. It will leave Pelosi and her caucus with small room for error on bills, including President Joe Biden's infrastructure package, another stupid 19 stimulus bill, another one. Why? Just open the freaking country. Policing bills and gun control legislation. So anyway, so good. I still don't know what they're doing about that seat in Iowa too. If that 212 includes the seat in Iowa. Let's see. There was a runoff. Okay, so let's see. Let's just scroll down if they say anything here. We got that. If other Democrats disagree with the party on the more left-wing agenda items, such items will likely not pass. So far, 3 Democrats have left the House of Representatives to join the Biden administration, including presidential advisor Cedric Richmond, HUD Secretary Marcia Fudge, and Interior Secretary Deb Haaland. Last week, longtime Representative Alcee Hastings of Florida died after a battle with cancer. There is 1 vacant seat for Republicans after Representative Ron White died in February. 4 special elections are scheduled over the next several months, including 3 districts that were previously held by Democrats. I don't know if they're Democratic strongholds, though. Hello, Random American. Nice to see you. No one wants to vote on Biden's package. You know what? I could have gone the whole day without you mentioning Biden's package, but hey, welcome to the show. Okay, so there's another, the special runoff. Oh, in Louisiana for Richmond's seat. Richmond. Is Richmond a Democrat? Oh, yes. In Louisiana. Goodness, if he loses that, okay. It's scheduled to be held April 24th as the 2 candidates who are facing off in the district, which has been solidly Democrat for years. Maybe it's like in one of the cities, are both Democrat. Oh, both candidates in the runoff are Democrats. So I guess that one doesn't matter for what I was about to say. On May 1st, a special election will be held in Texas' 6th congressional district to fill Wright's seat, which days later, on June 1st, a special election will be held for the 1st congressional district for Haaland's seat, which is a solidly Democratic district. Special election for Fudge's seat, which is in Ohio's 11th district, will not be held until November 2nd. Good Lord. Let's see, in the coming months, Democrats who won recently centrist districts, such as Representative Jared Golden's, or districts that were won by former President Donald Trump, will be in key swing votes. So some of these Democrats in the House are they're in Trump districts, places won by Trump. So they got to tread softly. Still doesn't say anything about the Iowa seat, which Nancy Pelosi's trying to steal. All right, let's move on. More news. In Maryland, a trooper kills a teenager who has an airsoft gun. Now, I haven't heard any national news about this, but, I'm not sure why, but it's not, you would think that a trooper killing, an officer killing a teenager with a toy gun? I've never heard of such a thing. A Maryland State police officer responding to a pair of 911 calls, shot and killed a teenager who was pointing what investigators determined was an airsoft gun at him, authorities said Tuesday. Is this, I don't know. Chef James just got here. All I heard are Nancy's caucus and Biden's package. Chef James. Welcome to the show. Okay. Good God. The shooting occurred after state police received 2 911 calls about someone acting suspicious. Superintendent Woodrow Jones II told a news conference. The first caller said he thought the person had a gun, left a telephone number, but did not give an address before hanging up, Jones said. Second caller gave a street address for the suspicious person that was a short distance from the Leonardtown Barracks, but the caller hung up before identifying themselves. Jones said the trooper, who responded alone, encountered Peyton Ham, 16, who he said had a gun and a knife. According to the superintendent, a witness said they saw Ham in the driveway of the home in a shooting stance and pointing the weapon at the trooper. The trooper fired at the male, wounding him, Jones said. According to another witness, Ham then pulled out a knife and tried to get up. The trooper ordered him to drop the knife before he fired again, Jones said, adding that the trooper reported the shooting and called for emergency personnel, while other troops gave first aid. Ham was taken to a nearby hospital where he was pronounced dead, Jones said. An investigation revealed that the weapon Ham wielded was an airsoft gun, which is commonly used to shoot BBs and which Jones called a close representation of an actual handgun. The teenager was white.
You're fucking a white male!
As is the trooper who shot him, according to Maryland State Police spokesman Greg Shipley. The trooper, who has been with the state police for 2 years and 7 months, has been placed on administrative leave pending the investigation. Jones said the trooper was not hurt. And Maryland State Police troopers do not wear body cameras, and Jones said investigators will look for video from the surrounding area. He said dash cam video did not capture the incident. So Leonardtown is about 60 miles southeast of Washington, D.C. So those who predicted that, it's predictable. So you probably won't hear a lot about it unless anyone talks about it on YouTube. Hey, hi, that's me. I talked about it. Anyway, and finally, I got 2 more news stories before we get into the stuff. Federal prosecutors will not charge officer who shot Ashley Babbitt, citing self-defense. Federal prosecutors announced Wednesday they will not seek charges against the Capitol Police officer who shot Air Force veteran Ashley Babbitt as she attempted to enter a restricted area of the Capitol along with a group of protesters on January 6th. The officer, who has not been identified, nor has his house been given out to the address has been given out to the public, acted in self-defense and in defense of members of Congress when he fired a single fatal shot at Babbitt, according to a statement released by the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, D.C. The investigation revealed no evidence to establish that at the time the officer fired a single shot at Ms. Babbitt, the officer did not reasonably believe that it was necessary to do so in self-defense or in defense of members of Congress and others evacuating the House chamber. It reads a statement from the U.S. Attorney's Office, which conducted the investigation along with the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division. Video recorded of the shooting showed that Babbitt, an outspoken supporter of former President Donald Trump, attempting to crawl through a barricaded section of the Capitol outside the Speaker's lobby. Now, self-defense and defense of the people who were in the building, a.k.a. the Congress critters. Look, I said this at the time, and as if I'm going to be consistent, Miss Babbitt was trying to get into a restricted area where I would expect officers to use force to keep them out. And in that particular place, self-defense, sure, exit out. But in defense of a restricted area, if he's doing his job. Now, there's certainly a terrible... Hi, Chris Jones. How you doing? The officer wasn't being attacked. All she did was stand in front of the entrance. No, she was climbing through the broken window. And so she was going into that restricted area. Now, was that use of force necessary or not? I don't know. Look, if that was, what am I trying to say here? Holy shit. I guess, look, this officer was doing his job. She was climbing through the window of the last place where that they didn't need to be. And his weapon was drawn and she still attempted to go through that window. I can understand where this officer would not be charged. Now, I could also understand possibly where this officer might not be charged also. Although, gross negligence on her part as far as which weapon she drew, I don't want this person protecting me. I'm glad she's fired because how a 27-year veteran of a force would make that mistake either tells me that she spends very little time in the field, and certainly not that she should be training anybody when she doesn't recognize that she's holding a weapon that weighs probably twice as much as a taser would, or unless her service weapon is a special designed service weapon that's lighter for her, stature. But I'm completely torn on whether or not this officer should be charged. That's his job. If someone breached the gates of the White House, they would be hit by a sniper, weapon or not. So possibly. So I don't know. It's that's a tough case, and tough to be consistent on stuff like that. And then finally, this was an interesting article in Bloomberg Business Week. Dude shot and killed an unarmed person. Well, yeah, that seems the rules, right? An unarmed person shot and killed. There are a lot of cases where unarmed persons are shot and killed that can be considered justified, and I can, but the problem is the only time we hear about them, at least now, because there is a narrative that's constantly pushed that it's only unarmed black people. And it's not. In fact, more numerically, unarmed white people are shot by police. And usually that's for a reason. It's very rare that it's not a good reason. What? The defense rests. That's a little faster than I expected. I guess we'll see about that. There's interest. Yeah, okay, we'll talk about that later. Thank you, Zach Osborne, for letting me know. That's crazy that they've done so far. Of course, they did pick apart so many of the prosecution's witnesses, and there's two places. Let's just pull this off the screen. I'm gonna give you a couple opinions before I move on. Oh, and I'll tell you about this one later. There were two things that I remember from the prosecution when they were cross-examined that probably is going to sit in the jury's mind. When they asked one of the medical people that were there for the prosecution, about the autopsy of George Floyd. And that medical person said that if he had not known anything else about the circumstances in this case, by the evidence that he had, he would have assumed that George Floyd died of an overdose. Which tells me that George Floyd, his autopsy says that it could have been independent of Derek Chauvin's actions. Now, I still am in that camp that says Derek Chauvin's lack of awareness that this person died underneath him and didn't make any attempt to revive him prior to the paramedics getting there, leaves him in that negligent manslaughter, whatever that definition is, right? I think he still would be convicted of that. And the argument against that, which also came up in this case, is that officers who are in a situation where there is possible harm done to them, or an unruly crowd or something around them, they would not provide CPR or any assistance to a possible dead suspect that they're holding because of the possible danger to them. And in this case, there was the MMA fighter telling him that he was going to, he was going to show him, he was going to kick his ass, this and that, and the third, which would possibly fit that bill, except for the fact that there were 4 officers on the scene. And so if one officer could give CPR, while the other 3 certainly could protect that officer. So I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see how the jury looks at it. The other part of it that I think a moment that's going to stick in the jurors' minds is one of the witnesses for the prosecution was talking about how, the reason that he was in that on his the fact that he was on his side and the officer's pressure on the body would cause some of this, this happening. And the defense asked him, well, what if he would have gotten in the car? Would he have died if he had gotten in the car? And instead of answering that question, he just didn't answer it. So, I don't know. Thank you, Zach Osborne, for another deuce on Streamlabs. Let's see. Anyone who saw that video of the kid killed in the hallway on his hands and knees, begging for his life, and the cop just got let back onto the force, is your rebuttal against all these BLM grifters. I didn't know that they put that cop back in the force. I thought for sure that cop would be convicted of murder. That looked like straight up murder. I don't even have any idea why that cop decided to shoot that kid. That was really weird. Did he really get back on the force? Holy shit. I did not know that. Yeah, Wow, I did not know that. Anyway, all right. Let me go back to my last story. Now, this one, I only put this up because, I wonder why they would have put this article in the paper. The 23-year-old coder that kept QAnon online when no one else would. Nick Lim provides tech support to the U.S. networks of white nationalists and conspiracy theorists banned by the likes of Amazon. Oh, why would they name this guy? He lives just north of Portland, too. I wonder why they would have made an article about this guy. 2.5 months before extremists invaded let me just go to the meat of this. Lim founded Vanwa Tech in late 2019. He hosts some websites directly and provides others with technical services, including protection against certain cyber attacks. His annual revenue, he says, is in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Although small, the operation serves clients, including the Daily Stormer, one of America's most notorious online destinations for overt neo-Nazis, and 8kun, which is the message board formerly known as 8chan, at the center of the QAnon movement, whose adherents were heavily involved in the violence at the Capitol on January 6th. Lim exists in a singularly odd corner of the business world. He says he is not an extremist, just an entrepreneur with a maximalist view of free speech. I have no problem with that. There needs to be a me, right? He says, while eating a pho at a Vietnamese restaurant near his headquarters. Once you get to the point where you look at whether content is safe or unsafe, as soon as you do that, you've opened a can of worms. At best, his apolitical framing comes across as naive. Now, obviously, this is a Bloomberg article, so they're going to say that. Hello, check your logic, by the way. At worst, preposterous gaslighting. In interviews with Bloomberg Businessweek early in 2020, Lim said he didn't really know what QAnon was and had no opinion about Donald Trump. Well, that's what. Does he have to have one? It's very editorializing, if you ask me. What's undeniable in this niche Lim is filling, his blip of a company is providing essential tech support for the kinds of violence-prone hate groups and conspiracists that tend to get banned by mainstream providers such as Amazon Web Services. It's almost impossible to run a real website without the support of invisible services such as web hosting, domain name registration, and protection against distributed denial of service attacks, which involve crashing a site by bombarding it with junk traffic. Getting banned by AWS, Cloudflare, or other infrastructure providers, as the Daily Stormer and 8kun have been, is a step beyond a ban from Facebook or Twitter. It puts the American far right on a short list that includes child pornographers and terrorist organizations such as the Islamic State. So it's interesting what they're doing here. it's interesting. Now, the Daily Stormer, FTG, fuck them. But do they have allowed? Are in the United States of America? Are they allowed to spew whatever shitbag rhetoric they want to? Absolutely. And you know what? I'd rather know where the hell they are and what they're saying, because when they're hiding in the shadows, that's when they get dangerous. You don't get to pay attention to them. So I put them on. I don't care. By the way, good morning, MC. Why is this not working today? There we go.
Hammer time.
Anyway, they have a full article. I mean, literally, this article goes on and on and on. And the only reason they made this article, though, they want him to be a target. I guarantee you that's their purpose. So even though I didn't intend this to be an FTG, it's probably appropriate to FTG Bloomberg. And so there you go. All right, now my original FTG for today has to do with this man. If you don't know who this man is he's the union president for the Boston Police. For years, the Boston Police kept a secret. The union president was an alleged kitty diddler. I'm going to say it that way because I don't think you can say those words in combination on YouTube anymore. Or maybe you can. I don't know. I know during the pizza thing, pizza swinging door that's usually on a fence, you couldn't use those words and it was a flag on your channel for some reason. Despite 1995 evidence, Patrick Rose kept his badge, worked on child sexual assault cases, and ascended to power in the police union. He went on to allegedly molest 5 other children. This is some of the shit that public employee unions, or especially police unions, are shitty about, and that's why I'm saying FTG. A father and his teenage daughter walked into the Hyde Park police station last August and reported a heinous crime. The girls said being repeatedly molested from age 7 through 12 by former Boston Police Union President Patrick M. Rose Sr. 5 more people soon came forward accusing Rose of molesting them as children over the span of 3 decades, including the girl's own father. Rose, being tagged as a child sexual abuser, was news to the city when he was arrested and charged last summer, but it wasn't news to the Boston Police Department, where Rose served for 2 decades as a patrolman. A Globe investigation has found that the police department in 1995 filed a criminal complaint against him for sexual assault on a 12-year-old, and even after the complaint was dropped, proceeded with an internal investigation that concluded that he likely committed the crime. Despite that finding, Rose kept his badge, remained on patrol for another 21 years, and rose to power in the union that represents the patrol officers. Today, the police are fighting to keep secret how the department handled the allegations against Rose and what, if any, penalty he faced. Over the years, this horrific case has come full circle. The father who brought his daughter in last summer to report abuse by Rose was the boy allegedly abused at age 12 in the 1995 case. The department's lack of administrative action back then may have left Rose free to offend again and again from one generation to the next. Prosecutors now say the boy recanted his story under pressure from Rose, a common phenomenon for young survivors of abuse when faced with demands from their abuser. Though the criminal case against Rose was dropped as a result, a separate police internal affairs investigation went forward and concluded that Rose broke the law. So why the hell did they protect him this long? And this is the thing that people complain about. Why do they protect bad cops? Sometimes the thin blue line Sometimes it needs to be cut. And people need to be let go and thrown to the wolves. Or die in a fire. I'm not going to read the rest. You can read the rest yourself. But definitely, FTG, Patrick Rose, and FTG to the Boston Police Union. Fuck y'all to hell. Sorry, you don't protect these assholes. Get rid of the bad cops, and maybe people who have zero confidence in police, not because of necessarily a deserved reputation for certain things that people accuse police of, but when they protect shitheads like this, it certainly doesn't help. If you want to read the rest of that article, it'll be in the tab today, in the link in the description down below. All right, moving on. Twitter locks out a journalist over a tweet criticizing the Black Lives Matter founder, according to reports. Now, this is not the only person who I know they got. If you're familiar with a YouTube channel called Black Conservative Patriot, he also got a 7-week suspension from not only Twitter, but also from YouTube for criticizing Patrisse Cullors. You know, Patrisse Cullors, as in C-O-N. Twitter reportedly locked a black sports journalist out of his account after he criticized Black Lives Matter co-founder for buying a ritzy home in the mostly white neighborhood. Jason Whitlock, who I think James Whitlock is a great dude, says Twitter blocked him over a tweet pointing out the demographics of Topanga Canyon, a Los Angeles enclave where Black Lives Matter's Patrisse Cullors had recently snapped up a $1.4 million home, according to reports. By the way, just so you know, $1.4 million does not buy you a lot of home in California and most places in the Los Angeles metro. But, you know, it's still, it's like that home she bought in LA for $1.4 million in my area of town would probably sell for maybe 250 or 300,000. Well, actually a lot of acreage. So maybe around $500,000 or $400,000 to $500,000. Just let you know. It's so expensive. I saw a Rambler near my mother in Long Beach. She lives in a condo in Long Beach, and there was this it had to be a 1,200 square foot Rambler that was selling for $780,000, and that was 10 years ago. Craziness. Anyway, Whitlock showed fellow journalist Ryan Glassbeagle that the Friday email he received from Twitter about the offending post, which said Topanga Canyon has a black population of 1.4%. She's with her people, Whitlock wrote of Cullors, adding a link to the story about her real estate purchase on the celebrity blog dirt.com. Twitter appears to have removed the tweet and replaced it with a message saying the post violated Twitter rules. How? Thou shalt not criticize BLM founders, I guess. That must be, is that in your Twitter terms of service? BLM is one of big tech's sacred cows, Whitlock, a former ESPN columnist and Fox News sports commentator, told the Daily Mail. I think Twitter has been looking for an excuse to deplatform me. Whitter told the outlet that he lost his tweeting privileges because I revealed personal information about someone by sharing the dirt.com link. Oh, are they saying he doxed her? Not like everybody on the planet knew where it was since it's been all over the news. Good morning, Ebony Williams. How you doing? Despite the fact that the article did not include the address of Cullors' Topanga mansion and that the Post and other outlets have reported on her expensive purchase. It's been all over Twitter. Twitter spokesman told the Post that Whitlock's tweet violated the Twitter rules on private information. Bullshit. And that the account owner was required to delete the violative tweet. In a YouTube interview released Monday, Whitlock said he decided not to heed Twitter's demand. Well, now, he said, I'm going to play Nelson Mandela in Twitter jail, he said. There's so much hypocrisy here. Whitlock said of colors, a self-described Marxist. They want the state to own all the property, but she's out buying property all across the country. Actually, she bought 4 homes in the last couple years, spending $3.2 million in the United States. She also bought an exclusive home in an exclusive enclave in the Bahamas, in the same neighborhood that Justin Timberlake has a house. Woo, she living high on that grievance grifting. So anyway, good for her. Good for her, girl. You go, girl. You do that. Whatever it is the hell you do. All right, this is another one from the server, and I just thought this was hilarious. So a custom male robot with the strongest of jaw lines leave married female fan swooning. By the way, FTG Twitter, which I could probably say every freaking day. Hi, GNT. How you doing? A male real doll is being custom built for a Randy fan, and a picture shows him in a tank top with stubble, short hair, and a strong jawline, impressing a married woman. A male sex doll wearing a tank top, okay, just said that, has been built for a Randy fan. Real Doll shared a photo of the soon-to-be plastic lover on its Instagram page, writing, creating the... Okay. Real Doll shared a photo of the soon-to-be plastic lover on its Instagram page, writing, creating the strongest of jawlines since the 90s. But are you a stubble or beard person? Ladies, I got a question. Ladies, let me ask you. Are you hang on, I got to ask this right. I got to do this the right way. Ladies, are you a stubble or beard person? Just asking. Anyway, enough of that shit. A male sex doll fan, hippie doll lover, replied, "Wow, he is handsome, and he doesn't look like Johnny Michael Nate or the other new guy. Which bottle is he?" The company account replied, "It's custom. We'll never limit the creativity of our customers." Hippie doll lover appears to be a married U.S. woman who shares photos of her bizarrely dressed male sex dolls, according to the profile. In an interview with Bloat magazine. What the fuck is Bloat magazine? I don't know. She claims she was she's in a polyamorous relationship with 3 doll brothers as well as her human husband. She said, "I feel there are many different reasons why a female would purchase such a doll." Well, no, there's not. There's only one. Get off 22 positions in a one-night stand. Get off. Anyway. Okay, there he is. There he is. There he is. Male sex doll being custom built for a horny fan, as the picture shows him in a tank top and with stubble, short hair, and a strong jawline. Get off 22 positions in a one-night stand. Anyway, hello, Godfox61. Thank you very much for sponsoring the show with a news saying, oh yeah, 5 alarm level spicy news. Yes. Breathe in the news and let out the rant. More news in Discord, FTG, BLM, and their Marxist bastards stealing liberal money. One day at a time. Anyway, can we just, I'm sorry, what's her name? Hippie doll lover. Okay, I'm sorry. FTG, hippie doll lover. Get the hell out of here. Hello, Nicole Matson. Welcome to the show. And Mike Savage. Blarg. All right, let's move on. More FTGs on the way. Oh, and this is also, now, Gun Fox, I don't know what's going on with you today. I don't know if you needed some sexy time or what, but these articles are in the Discord. Of course, they're in the not safe for work section, but still, OnlyFans, COVID-19 pandemic have spurred a new sexual revolution. No one is more surprised than Sonya Morgan that Sonya Morgan is the fourth most popular star on OnlyFans. Is that what it says? Oh, and nobody's more surprised than Sonya Morgan herself. She is, after all, 57 years old and most famous as a long-standing Real Housewife of New York, not the sort of person you'd expect on a platform comprised mainly of nudies and homemade softcore and porn. But Morgan, who is always looking to expand her empire, toaster ovens and a Nigerian football team are among the doomed enterprises known to Roni fans, thought there might be room on OnlyFans for her brand of middle-aged flooziness. I'm known on the show as Sexy Sonya or Sexy J, she tells the Post. I'm always the first to go naked in the pool. I date younger guys. I have all these videos of me running around naked at swimsuit parties. Morgan first joined OnlyFans last July, right after recovering from a neck and facelift. Hey, if you're gonna go on OnlyFans, you might as well get that shit right? Nicole's my girl. Oh, my girl, talking about my girl. Ooh. Okay, enough of that. So anyway, the Roni audience consists largely of high-income, highly educated white women and gay men. So, the white... What? Wait a minute. Her OnlyFans audience is highly educated white women and gay men? Is that... Okay, maybe I'm misunderstanding what OnlyFans is about, because I've never even thought of going over there after kind of understanding what the concept is. So she's one of the most she's the fourth most popular OnlyFans account. And her audience consists largely of high-income, highly educated white women and gay men. Huh. That's interesting. Brought to you by Girls Gone Wild, the Boomer Edition. Right, because she's my age. She's that last of the Boomer set. You know, the last Boomers, the first Gen Xers. Interesting. Morgan explains as only she can. I walk into Cipriani and it's people who went to Harvard and Yale. That's who's watching the show. I'm well known internationally for my lifestyle as a model and philanthropist who is married to JPM, that's banking icon James Adam Morgan, known to intimates as JPM. In other words, selling one's sexuality online is becoming a side hustle without stigma. I don't know if it's completely without stigma, but who knows? Hello, lunatic. Good morning. Once upon a time, the reality star under contract to a high-profile cable network would likely be fired for sex work on the side. It wasn't all that long ago that Vanessa Williams, the first black Miss America, was stripped of her title for having posed nude after her pictures were purchased and published by Penthouse magazine. The nation gasped. Today we yawn. Yeah, we kind of do. There's such a saturation of ass on the market of the internets. I mean, you go to a freaking Instagram account. Have you ever done a search on Instagram and you're like, because you're searching for like one of your friends something, you can't find them, so you just hit the search thing, and all this ass pops up on your little search. There's like a whole hit search to the little micro magnifying glass, and everything's ass. I'm like, I'm not looking for ass. I'm looking for my friend Bill, Dave, and it's like, come on. Too much ass. It's asses everywhere. Have you noticed that? And you go, or even if you go, like, I don't know if any of you are into TikToks or if you're on the Reels on, on Instagram or, excuse me, or if you ever click the YouTube Shorts, and you scroll through the Shorts, and if I hear that damn song, I got a small waist, pretty face, and a big bank, and then it's like the girl shows her narrow waist and her pretty face, and then she shows around and shows you ass. It's like, can we? And same thing on Instagram. If it suggests a freaking reel, which is it's a TikTok, but it's a Instagram version of TikTok, and Shorts is the YouTube version of TikTok. Every damn time, if you're scrolling through it, I got a small waist, skinny face, and a big bank, and there's her ass. Too much ass everywhere. It's just, you're desensitized to ass. Charlie, thank you. U.S. retail sales soared 9.8% in March as more Americans were vaccinated and spent their $1,400 stimulus checks. Yeah, no brainer. Yeah, that was going to happen no matter who was president, Charlie. Just telling you. That's why I laugh. It's like Biden taking credit for the vaccines. I wonder if he's going to keep taking credit for the vaccines if that Johnson & Johnson one stays off the market for a little while. But whatever, it doesn't matter. It's a team effort that the companies and cooperated with the last administration and continue with this administration. It was going to happen no matter who is president. I don't know if it would happen as fast, but it certainly was going to happen no matter who was president. So, and herd immunity-ish. Anyway, this goes on. Oh, now major movie stars such as Michael B. Jordan create an OnlyFans account. Close up of him biting his lower lip as bait. To zero scandal, Beyonce name checks OnlyFans and Megan Thee Stallion Savage, and the site gets 15% uptick in traffic in 24 hours. Black China, Cardi B, Tyga, Teen Wolf star Tyler Posey are all top content creators, sexualizing their content as little or as much as they choose. None of the women who pop up on the internet are attractive. They all look pretty much the same. Plastic, where I live, there's plenty of real attractive women. No, actually, some of them look kind of good. Some of them look fake, and there's a whole range of everything in between. But a lot of it's funny. It's just ass everywhere. I'm just saying. Anyway, so yeah, that's what's her face, and then they go talk about a couple more, but I don't know. This one's not. There's no FTG involved here, I don't think. Although, here I got an FTG. How about FTG Stupid 19? There we go. There we go. Richo. Oh, damn, you still doing that? Not being stuck up, but you wouldn't even know about the virus here anymore. Not all things, but things pretty much back to normal. Even been going to Aussie footy games. Well, that's cool. That's cool. My life never changed because of COVID. My job never shut down. Neither my job never shut down. This never shut down because you see me every day. Although did I miss a week when I had COVID? Well, I posted the week I had COVID, the first week I had COVID, and then I think I did my show. Oh, I did postpone the show. I just posted rather than doing the show. But but for the most part, I go to work every day, come back, do the show every day, go to work every day, come home, and do whatever that is else I do. I still coach basketball, although it was only half a season. But yeah, but still, FTG Stupid 19. Let's move on. This is another one that is not really an FTG. Well, this is always going to be FTG, Dr. Fauci, just because, and resist Faucism.
Resist we much.
The best kept secret of the pandemic, kept secret especially by our perma-doom-saying public health authorities, is that the COVID-19 vaccines work. They work very, very well. Yes, even the Johnson & Johnson product just put on pause because of a 1 in a million side effect. You know what's weird about that whole thing? So they have 6 people out of I think 1.6 million people have already had the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, right? And 6 people have had blood clots out of 1.6 million people. And look, they should be cautious about it. But it's weird how they and they haven't had any other cases that I know of. All I've heard about is the 6, and one woman died. And I don't know, maybe they're trying to see if that is the cause of it. But it's just weird that that's not a big sample. Could those 6 people have had blood clots anyway? That just seems weird. Now, if they were starting to have a whole bunch of people have it, I would understand it. But it's just strange to me. And even my wife and another nurse were talking yesterday, and like they were asking that same question. But, you know what else helps with this is getting the antibodies the old-fashioned way, like I did. Anyway, the vaccines have shown incredible results fighting off serious case. The other part is it's funny because people say, well, you could still get COVID. And I'm thinking, yeah, and? Because the vaccines are highly effective in having you not get COVID, but if you do get COVID after being vaccinated, it's supposed to keep you from having any severe symptoms. So it's not that you can't. So it does 2 things. 95% effective gets you getting COVID, but if you do get COVID after being vaccinated, right? It's supposed to be, make you would have a more mild case. You would very unlikely would die from it, right? At least that's what they keep saying, and yet, Dr. Fauci is still talking about double masking. Anyway, the vaccines show critical results. These shots are scientific miracles. You should take one at the first opportunity. Take the vaccine, wait 2 weeks after the final dose, and then return to your 2019 life. Yeah, that's what it should be. And they are completely undermining confidence in the vaccines by saying, well, you should still be masking up after you get it. We don't know, yada, yada, yada. But Carol Markowitz says, take your mask off as much as you can. You'll still have to wear it in shops that require it, or in the short but deadly walk to your tables at restaurants and bars. I roll. Yeah, I laugh about that every time I do it. We go to our favorite bar or restaurant on the weekends, and you have to mask up to walk in. And as soon as you sit down, you can take the mask off and then drink your beer or Bloody Mary or whatever, and then you're eating. Oh, but I have to go to the bathroom. Oh, I have to put my mask on to walk past all the other bar and restaurant patrons to go to the bathroom, and then I have to wear it till I get back. And then when I get back, I can take my mask off on, because see, when you're sitting at the bar or at a table, it's a scientific fact that you can't spread coronaviruses. It's a scientific fact that it cannot happen. But you don't need it anymore to walk your dog, push your child on a swing, hug a friend. Hey, I never did outdoor masking. I thought that was as stupid as F. The only time I did that outdoor masking thing is that the city of Breckenridge required it in the downtown area when we were there. And I don't know if they still do that, but still. Outdoor masking was always more about virtue signaling. Right after my own heart. But it's the funniest thing I always still find is I still see people driving down the street alone in their own car and wearing a mask. That's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. I don't understand that at all. Anyway, she says, so make plans. So many of us have been in a holding pattern for more than a year. See friends, and not just the ones you've bubbled with for the past year. I don't know what the bubble that means. Fill your weekends. Have brunch, lunch, or dinner. Go out. Go to a museum. Lounge in the park. Go on adventures. Fall in love with someone new or with your spouse all over again. Aw, so romantic. Remember why you love your city. Change out of your leggings. I don't wear leggings. Get dressed up. Find somewhere to go dancing. Laugh your face off at a comedy show. You've taken the vaccine and the pandemic is effectively over for you. Celebrate that hard. Take a trip. I've taken several trips even during the pandemic. The world may still largely be closed, but you live in a vast, amazing country, and there is more to see. America is open to you. Don't wait for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to let you. Because FTG, there we go. There's one. FTG, CDC. In March, the CD warned that vaccinated individuals shouldn't travel. You can fuck right off. In April, the agency said they could, but then clarified that they shouldn't. Well, F right off. So much of the guidance from the CDC and Dr. Anthony Fauci has been conflicting, resist fascism, gobbledygook, that they've had to clarify or walk back. Yeah, constantly. We've had Andy Slavitt, the White House senior advisor on COVID, previously known for his hysterical tweets, now issuing, quote, hugging guidance, end quote, for grandparents. Okay, I'm sorry. Just for that. Oops. Oh, shit. What did I just do? Oh. There we go. What the hell? Stop doing that. Oh, I know what I did. That guy. Andy Slavitt, a White House senior advisor on COVID, previously known for his hysterical tweet, now issuing hugging guidance for grandparents and their grandchildren. These people have tasted power and are reluctant to let it go. Remember, they aren't actually in charge of anything. FTG to Gretchen Whitmer, too, just because she's Gretchen Whitmer. When Fauci tells you he wouldn't dine indoors even after vaccination, that's his fucking problem. His psychosis. Maybe he never enjoyed dining out to begin with. Could be. I know he's never thrown a baseball before. And maybe he never enjoyed, maybe he thinks none of us should ever do it again. He's an 80-year-old man. I'm sorry. I'm not that high-risk category. In any case, he's an extremely poor messenger and muddled thinker who frequently says things that undermine the war against COVID by signaling that nothing, not even these miraculous vaccines, will return us to normal. Anyway, Fauci's reign is coming to an end. Thank God. And he probably senses it. A precipitous drop in the stupid 19 positivity rate, and loads more evidence shows that the vaccines have done their job. It's true, you may still get stupid 19 after the stab, and we may get future upticks in cases, but the evidence is that the stab are sending the death rates tumbling. That is what counts, not cases, not exceptional reactions to the jabs, not theoretical risk and worries about emerging strains. Oh, this woman is my hero. The experts who keep pushing more masks, more distancing, and more lockdowns, even after the stab, are doing a great disservice to the conspiracy theorists who think stabs implant government chips in our brains. Actually, he's doing a service to them. We know to dismiss the latter, but the former are constantly on our television, making no sense and refusing to say that we can move on from this pandemic. We can move on, and we should just be sane. We can defeat Dr. Falsey's nonsense by getting the stab and then living life as it's meant to be lived. Or if you don't want to get the stab, don't. Everyone around you you'll probably still be okay. In fact, you'll probably be okay either way because of the very, very low possibility that you would be ended by not getting the stab. All right, let's move on. Google. How about we just say, let's just get this out of the way. FTG. I'm sure I'll get a strike for this one. Anyway, FTG Google. Google is under antitrust scrutiny. Yes! Yes! They should be. By both the federal government and the states, whose law enforcement agencies are increasingly skeptical that its dominant market position has been fairly won. Much of the particulars of Google's behavior have remained under court seal, but due to a major filing error, by one of Google's very expensive antitrust attorneys, new details regarding the alleged ways it crushes competitors in the digital ad market have accidentally made public. Oh, so sad for Google. We now know the details of Project Bernanke, in which Google used its knowledge of past ad bids to alter bids put forward by its clients, giving Google an advantage position to win auctions for ad impressions over the market rivals. The company kept this information hidden from news publishers who also sell ads through Google's ad buying system, and in the process, the project raked in over $200 million a year. There are also new details about Jedi Blue, a secret collusion deal between Facebook and Google to give Facebook a preferential position in ad auctions, purportedly in exchange for Facebook's agreement not to compete with Google in the online advertising space. Data might be in trouble, and I don't mean numbers and statistics. I'm talking about Zuckerberg. All of this sheds more light on Google's murky, near total control of the digital advertising market, where it is the operator of the dominant ad exchange, as well as both buyer and a seller, where it is the Texas antitrust case analyzes Google's position to being the pitcher, the batter, and the umpire in the same baseball game. Google has intentionally kept details of the space opaque. However, by claiming the rest of us are too stupid to understand how it works, Google's chief economist, MIT-trained mathematician Hal Varian, has said Google's ad business is too detailed to explain publicly. Oh, well, try in court and in Congress. Google claimed the state had a deep misunderstanding of the digital market. Oh, aren't you sweet? How about you explain it to us, bucko? In other words, us dumb rudes should kneel to our betters and believe whatever the smart set tells us. While it's unclear why Google chose Bernanke as the moniker for its project, the hat tip to the former chair of the Federal Reserve is rather apropos. Ben Bernanke oversaw the financial crisis that resulted from all the country's rating agencies and regulators telling us to ignore what both evidence and common sense were suggesting. Trust us. Anyway, you can read the rest of this. FTG Google. Go. Yeah. Anyway. And the Taliban is back. See, we're talking about leaving Afghanistan. And look, we've been talking about leaving that under the last president, so I'm not saying this is strictly a Biden's America thing. But in Afghanistan, we have won the war. America has lost, says the Taliban. Well, isn't that special? Driving to Taliban-controlled territory doesn't take long. Around 30 minutes from the northern city of Mazar Sharif, passing large craters left by roadside bombs, we meet our host, Haji Hekmat, the Taliban shadow mayor in the Balk district. Perfumed and in a black turban. Okay, is the BBC giving him a tongue bath here? Let's find out. I'll just read the first couple of paragraphs because I don't want to get into this. By the way, FTG to the Taliban. Perfumed and in a black turban. He's a veteran member of the group, having joined the militants first in the 1990s when they ruled over a majority of the country. The Taliban have arranged a display of force for us. Lined up on either side of the street are heavily armed men, one carrying a rocket-propelled grenade launcher, another an M4 assault rifle captured from U.S. forces. Balk was once one of the more stable parts of the country. Now it's become one of the most violent. Baralai, a local military commander with a ferocious reputation, points down the road. The government forces are just there by the main market, but they can't leave their bases. This territory belongs to the Mujahideen. It's a similar picture across much of Afghanistan. The government controls the cities and bigger towns, but the Taliban are encircling them with a presence in large parts of the countryside. The militants assert their authority through sporadic checkpoints along key roads. As Taliban members stop and question passing cars, Amir Sahib Ajmal, the local head of the Taliban's intelligence service, tells us they're searching for people linked to the government. We will arrest them and take them prisoner, he says. Then we hand them over to our courts and they decide what will happen next. The Taliban believes victory is theirs. Sitting over a cup of green tea, Haj Hekmat proclaims, "We have won the war and America has lost." The decision by U.S. President Joe Biden to delay the withdrawal of remaining U.S. forces to September, meaning they will remain in the country past the May 1st deadline agreed last year, has sparked a sharp reaction from the Taliban's political leadership. Nonetheless, momentum seems to be with the militants. That's interesting. That's right. Trump wanted them out by May 1st, and they had an agreement to do that. And for whatever reason, the Biden administration has chosen September 11th as their deadline date or end date. I don't know I'm not so sure that's the best symbolism for that. But here's my other opinion about that. We don't need to be there. If they end up having whatever happens there and it turns ugly, it's their problem. They've had the same problems since the Stone Ages that they're still in. But clearly the Biden administration's announcements make them think they've got a solid victory. And you know what? FTG, I don't care. Let's move on. Here's one. This is I'm just gonna say this is humorous to me because you know how language seems to be changing all over the place. Well, the word mistress has become the woke brigade's latest target. Whoever put the mistress is cracking the whip on language. The Associated Press style book, which has traditionally set standards of language usage within the media landscape, mystified Twitter users Tuesday when it tweeted a reality-bending, wrist-slapping admonishment. Quote, "Don't use the term mistress for a woman who is in a long-term sexual relationship and is financially supported by a man who is married to someone else. Instead, use the alternative like companion. I'll use an alternative like companion, friend, or lover on first reference and provide additional details later." FTG to the Associated Press. Of course, Guma is a much better term. The announcement led many to wonder which mistress had taken control of the account and what is truly wrong with the word mistress. It also spurred a joke fest with people tweeting alternatives to mistress like side piece and home wrecker. Auditor and mathematician James Lindsay wrote, quote, "I'll call her whatever I want. You call her mom." And cheeky college hoops commentary account No Escalators took the AP's advice on the word substitution, writing, Rick Pitino and his companion got a brief tour of an Italian restaurant, referring to the 2003 incident in which Pitino had sex with a woman on the table of a Louisville restaurant. Obviously, at AP is banging a married dude. That's just gross. Though it surfaced yesterday on social media, the AP Stylebook's policy regarding the word mistress dates to 2016 when it said to avoid the word because there was no male equivalent. Isn't there? Hello, Tony Topanga. Then in 2020, the AP grew stronger in its woke feminist convictions, saying it was banning the word because it was archaic and sexist. No, it's not. Is there a name though for what did they call when a woman has a side piece that's they're supporting financially? There is a name for that, isn't it? Fuckboy. That could be. I don't know. That's hilarious. Anyway, FTG to the AP. All right, let's see what else we got left. Oh, and Patrice Cullors of BLM, which now stands for By Large Mansion. How about we just give her an FTG just for old time's sakes? I'll just put what is it? It's Patrice. I could get in trouble for this, can't I? I think that's how you spell it. Kept man, yes, that's what it's called. Although, is it? No. Sugar daddy's when the sugar daddy's isn't that a man who's like paying and lavishing a woman? Kept man. Is it a kept man? But is it that when they're having an affair though? See, this isn't a case. A mistress is when the man is having an affair and then she's, he's paying for all her shit. Is there? I don't know. Anyway, FTG Patrice Cullors, and let's see. Finally, I got the last two here. Here's those articles I was telling you about. Democrats unveil a court-packing bill to expand the Supreme Court to 13 members. Well, that's not very lucky, now is it? Democrats will reportedly unveil a bill Thursday to pack the Supreme Court by expanding the number of justices from 9 to 13, with the 4 new vacancies to be filled immediately by President Joe Biden and the Democrat-controlled Senate. How convenient. Let's see. That would make, Gigolo. That might be it. Paramore. Gigolo's probably closer. Interesting. Patrice Ripley, how you doing, my friend? And also, good morning, Asian Research Directorate. Nice to see you. And Why Are You So Angry is here, too. I did not see you pop in either. So anyway, congressional Democrats plan to unveil legislation to expanding the size of the Supreme Court on Thursday. According to 3 congressional sources familiar with the closely held measure, the bill would add 4 seats to the High Court, bringing the total to 13 from the current 9. The bill is... Okay, here's just the FTGs for you right here. And that's just here. I'm gonna make this simple. I'm gonna cut or copy FTG and paste. There you go. That bill is led by House Judiciary Committee Chair Jerry Nadler, Subcommittee Chair Hank Johnson. Oh my God. Hank Johnson is the subcommittee chair of the Judiciary Committee. Hank Johnson, who asked if having too many military personnel on the island of Guam could tip it over, could capsize Guam. Hank Guam is capsizing. Johnson is the subcommittee chair of the House Judiciary Committee. Are you freaking kidding me? And freshman Mondar Jones. In the Senate, the bill is being championed by Ed Markey of Massachusetts. Sorry, there's already 2 or 3 senators who said this is going nowhere. Democrat senators, so they're not getting this. Ain't going to happen. The proposal comes less than a week after President Biden signed an executive order creating a commission to study the question of whether the Supreme Court should be expanded for strictly political purposes. Anyway, FTG to all of them. They're dirty bastards. It's like, look, the Supreme Court has had 40 or almost 50 years where the majority of the court were appointed by Democrats. And even some of the appointments by Republicans haven't worked out as like how Republicans think they would. Chief Justice. And so this is like them having a tantrum. Oh my God, we're not the majority anymore. We need to change the rules because we can't win the freaking game. You know what happened the last time they changed rules? Why do you think we have a 6-3 Republican appointment to Democrat appointment the majority of the court right now? Because of some people who decided to change the rules. Harry Reid, you moron. Harry Reid is against this, by the way, so at least he's whatever. He's whatever. All right, and the last one today. Here's the other one. House Democrats advance a bill to make Washington, D.C. a state. The House Oversight Committee, chaired by Representative Carolyn Maloney, has advanced Bill H.R. 51 by a vote of 25-19 to create a D.C. statehood, which may receive full House vote next week in an increasingly shrinking Democrat majority. Well, I wonder why that is. Wait till the 2022 elections and see how that goes. Despite the committee clearance after many counter amendments, Representative Andy Biggs, Republican of Arizona, said the ultimate argument seems to hinge on the 23rd Amendment, which guarantees the federal capital at least 3 electors in presidential elections. Biggs' view is supported by many legal scholars who have denied D.C. statehood's feasibility without a constitutional amendment to the 23rd Amendment. Breitbart News reported Tuesday the Office of Legal Counsel in 2007 stated it was unconstitutional when Democrats attempted to give D.C. voting power in Congress without making it a full state. Additionally, the Justice Department under former President Reagan and former President Carter deemed the transformation of Washington, D.C. into a state unconstitutional, along with Democratic Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy, who said a similar proposal was unconstitutional in 1963. The late Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, when he was a judge on the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, also opposed such legislation when he wrote, "It is fanciful to consider as politically powerless a city whose residents include a high proportion of the officers of all 3 branches of the federal government on their staffs, and their staffs." Opposition to D.C. statehood is anchored in 3 traditional arguments. 1, our nation's capital was always meant to be unique. The founders wanted it to be a federal district existing beyond the confines or influence of any one state. H.R. 51 is 2. H.R. 51 would require Congress to ignore the plain command of the 23rd Amendment. Number 3, even those who support D.C. statehood admit district residents enjoy special benefits due to where they live and would enjoy an outsized influence in Congress. 22 state attorneys general sent a letter Tuesday to the Biden administration and Congress arguing Washington, D.C. cannot become a state through legislations, but only through the process of a constitutional amendment. If this Congress passed, okay, so here's the other problem. When they ceded the land for Washington, D.C., the state of Maryland and the state of Virginia, I believe that it was agreed upon back then, and I don't know if it's a binding agreement, that those territories, if ever, relinquished by the District of Columbia, would be returned to the states from which the land was gained from. I think they have first dibs. This is a stupid bill. It's not passing anyway. FTG to the House Democrats. Well, some of the House Democrats. And that's it for today, folks. Hey, I must ask you right now, before I do anything drastic, if you haven't hit the like button yet, what the hell are you thinking? No, please hit the like button if you like what we do. The Morning Night Live's here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 1500 DMT. Please hit the like button before you go. Also, if you really like what we do, please share the stream out. If you're watching on replay, please leave a comment in the comment section. In fact, if you're watching now, come back and leave a comment in the comment section sometime. If there's something in particular about the show that you liked or found interesting or had a strong opinion about, please put it in my comment section. Also, if you want to support the show in a more, green way, because we all need to, be more green in our lives. You can do that through YouTube SuperChats or Streamlabs 24 hours a day. Cashapp and Venmo are also available. All that information is in the description down below. Thank you to our sponsors of the show today. Royal Flush, where when you want to feel like a king on the throne, and Zach Osborne and Gunfox61. Thank you for sponsoring the show today. Greatly appreciated. That's all for today, people. I do really need to leave. Check the, give me a few minutes, or about a minute and a half, and I will have all these tabs in the description down below shortly. Just watch the chat, and I'll tell you when that's been done. I gotta go. My name is PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.